Welcome to Virtus Vex. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I love it. We're going to keep on this one. We've got turn 2 Charcoal Diamond, and that's going to, I mean, not a turn 2, but a turn 1 Charcoal Diamond, and that'll turn into a turn 2 Virtus, and I think that'll be pretty good. And we're playing against Zenix57, who also has a channel. So I haven't checked it out yet. They just told me they have a channel where they record Magic too. So be sure to check it out if you want to look them up. They said their YouTube page was the same name as their Magic Online handle. But yes, we've got a pretty fun matchup. We've got Saskia the Unyielding versus Virtus Vex. So hopefully we can get some... I always like to imagine Virtus in like the Battle Bond Arena against... whoever we're playing against. I always like to imagine them in the Battle Bond Arena. So that's what we got going on today. And let's see if we can't close this one. Ooh, Stunning Reversal. Yes, I've always wanted to cast this card. So hopefully we can put ourselves in a situation where that does happen. Let's get down Swamp. Let's go for Chrome Mox. And we're going to go and exile Vendetta out of our hand because we could hold on to it. But I think, well... Actually, yeah, I think, no, we'll go and hold on to Battle at the Bridge. I think that'll be a little bit better. Let's go and exile, or if we want to, we can actually get rid of Stunning Reversal. No, I think we might need that against Saskia. That's going to be pretty crucial. So you know what, let's go and get rid of Vendetta. Let's go and go for Charcoal Diamond. And actually, instead of Virtus on turn 2, we're looking at a Sad Robot, and that'll be some really good mana. I think that sounds like a pretty good plan. But yes, we're playing Virtus Vex, partnering with Gorm the Great. He's not here, buddy. This is the Virtus show. So, it's up to you, man. Death Touch, then whenever Virtus deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life, rounded up. Playing against Saskia the Unyielding. Vigilance and Haste, and as Saskia enters the battlefield, choose a player. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to the chosen player. And if you are keeping score at home, more than likely the chosen player is going to be us, so... I would assume so. So we'll see if anything else is different. And I guess, well, I guess if we're going to be attacking our opponent's life total, we might as well just go and get Virtus. It'll be a great way for us to kind of go for some sort of spot removal test. So we get down Virtus, and he's not here, man. This is you, buddy. This is you. We're going to choose ourselves. And actually, if we target our opponent and they're actually running him in there, they could search him up. So that's why you always want to make sure. I did that one time, just kind of messing around. I targeted our opponent. I was like, uh-oh. They can, if they have that in there, they might be able to search it up. So we're going to get down Virtus, and then we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to get into Magic Online, whether it's Commander, 1 versus 1 Commander, Multiplayer Commander, Legacy, Modern, Pauper, Penny Dreadful, whatever it is. If you want to have some fun playing something that's not standard, be sure to hit up MTGOTraders and check out Magic Online. Card prices are pretty cheap. And shout out to inkgaming.com. If you're in the market for a custom playmat, use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order and help the channel out at the same time. Let's get down Volrai Stronghold. Let's go and push in for 1. Knock them down. And we'll get this Virtus show going. I like it. It's always fun to be able to swing in with Virtus. Just, it's always nice to have a few little things that make this deck kind of really shine and attack their life total. But getting in for a quick 14 is always it's always a good feeling. Let's go for Sad Robot. And if you haven't seen this deck before, there's a very heavy artifact build in here. This is why we're running stuff like Battle at the Bridge. We have Herald of Anguish in here too. And that's another way we can really kind of attack our opponent's life total. Or really just kind of squeeze as much value as possible. And pretty much our game plan is, you kind of saw what it was. Get down Virtus as quickly as possible, kind of hit our opponent for a quick life swing, and then if they get some sort of stabilizing factor on the battlefield, and if they get some sort of stabilization or then get rid of Virtus, at least we kind of get, there we go, Damnation. That's another way for us to kind of go for a little bit of a chip shot. Yes, we're definitely going to use that ability, draw an Expedition map, and off of that Expedition map, we might end up going for Rogue's Passage, because we need some sort of unblockable ability, so I think that would be pretty, ooh. And we get Torment of Hellfire and Exsanguinate. Okay, so at this point right now, this is going to be a Hellfire for 1, 2, 3, 4. They sacrifice Phyrexian Arena, that's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12. That's... They can discard some cards. That would be a pretty quick way to attack them. But I really want to go for a Virtus win. I know this kind of feels like we can try to go for a Torment of Hellfire. That's going to make them sacrifice some stuff. They can rebound with Phyrexian Arena. Yeah, I kind of like forcing Virtus line of play. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. We're going to go for Virtus. When I play certain decks, there's certain lines of play that I want to go for, and that's getting some kind of like kind of like Magic Bingo in a way. I want to win with Virtus. So if we need to end up going for Exsanguinate or Torment of Hellfire, at least we can still make these just a little bit easier to go for. Because if we're going to go for either one of these, Exsanguinate or Torment of Hellfire, we want to be able to at least kind of make sure that's going to be lethal to our opponent. Because at this point, they can sacrifice Phyrexian Arena or basically just take 3 and then discard the 3 hands and still be in a pretty good position with Saskia dealing that damage. If you haven't played against Saskia in 1 versus 1, it is... it can be pretty brutal sometimes. They can get some really good stuff going, and then you think you're okay. You're like, all right, I'm going to get this one, and the next thing you know, you're like, uh-oh, I'm gone. I've just lost the game. So we can at least go for Improvise, too, if they get down their commander. We got more than enough artifacts. We got 1, 2, 3 to really take it. Ooh, sick pay. But our opponent ends up going for Reanimate on Sad Robot, and that's going to put us in a really good position to go for this Torment of Hellfire, or simply just going for an Exsanguinate. We'll see what else they go for. Sort of Light and Shadow. Okay. Now, if we can find some sort of way to deal with Sad Robot. All right, so we hit a Swamp. So we crack Expedition Map. We grab Road's Passage. That's going to be 1, 2, and we have just enough to make it unblockable. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go Expedition Map. Because like I mentioned, there's a really satisfying win, just really attacking our opponent's life total with this one. And with them being tapped out, that really kind of opens the way for us to go for this Torment of Hellfire. So let's grab Rogue's Passage. That's going to be the land drop for the turn. And then let's make sure that Virtus is unblockable. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. It just feels really good to get this. Like I mentioned, we could have gone for Exsanguinate or Torment of Hellfire and done a pretty good chunk of damage, but... we want to knock them down to 4 to make sure this Exsanguinate's really going to stick. They might be able to gain some life from that Sword of Light and Shadow a little bit if they want to. But, no, excuse me. Deals combat, you gain 3 life and return up to 1 target card from your graveyard. All right, so going to put them down to 3. That's going to be the Phyrexian Arena trigger, putting them down to 2. And then even if we get Rogue's Passage to stick next turn, what we can do is if we get half of their life total down, we also get into a position to where we can kind of set it up to where they get... they lose the game with Phyrexian Arena or even just a Mana Crypt trigger, so I'll certainly take that. But let's see what they get down. They've got a pretty good chunk of mana on this side of the battlefield, especially getting down Mana Crypt. Thankfully, the Sword of Light and Shadow is not a Sword of Feast and Famine, because that would be... that'd be really brutal. So they do get down Saskia. She does have Vigilance and Haste, so they can start to swing in. But we'll see what... see what's in store for us, but we've got some pretty good options for what we want to do next turn once we deal this damage. Okay, that's going to be Saskia. That's going to be an extra 5. Puts us down to 16. They're going to go up to 5. And then, and I guess what we can do, draw into Vampiric Tutor. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be 8 with the land drop. Yeah, I think we just go for just straight up Exsanguinate. I think that's the best bet. Yeah, because we can't push past that. So we go for Exsanguinate. You can see how quick our opponent got down our life total. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is what Exsanguinate is in here for. You know, we attack with Virtus. We get their life total down really low. And this is going to make it to where our opponent's going to lose 6 life and we gain 6. Oh, no. Do they have some sort of... Oh, no. We've got Swords to Plowshare. Okay, so they're going to exile that. They go to 7. That's going to put them down to 1. But that's going to be the Phyrexian Arena trigger. Yes. Okay, but we're still going to get it on this one. That's going to be Phyrexian Arena. A good heads-up play by our opponent to gain some life. But unfortunately, unless they have some sort of... you don't lose the game this turn, which if they do, that would be pretty amazing. In fact, we'll get the chat popped up. Okay. All right, so we get the Phyrexian Arena trigger. Let's put them down to 0. We're going to be able to close it out. We probably could have done it a little bit quicker with Torment of Hellfire, but one of the main things that we want to do with this deck is really attack our opponent's life total, knock it down in half, and then use that quick mana that we use to get Virtus on the battlefield quick to really kind of help us fuel some of these Torment of Hellfires. You can see where Exsanguinate for simply just 6 was enough to close it out. Our opponent kind of got down to Swords to Plowshare to stop it, but and thankfully with this Sword of Light and Shadow, this is also another thing I want to highlight. So with these swords, they give you protection from white and from black. That's going to be your own spells too. So if they didn't have Sword of Light and Shadow, they definitely could exile that card and gain a little bit of extra life. But thankfully, that Phyrexian Arena, Greatness at Any Cost, definitely sealed the game for us. So like I mentioned, our opponent does have a channel. Be sure to check them out. I'm going to check them out after this game. And I can't pull the chat up since the game is over. But good game to our opponent. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Virtus Vex. As far as our opening hand, man, I love this deck. As far as our opening hand goes, I mean, this is good, but we're playing against the Scarab God, and every single creature is going to be a black zombie, so this Doomblade is basically a dead card in our hand. And this is really clunky. So, you know what? Let's go on mulligan. I'm not super wild about... Oh. Okay, let's go one more go. And yes, we'll keep on this one. We've got Grim Tutor, we've got Resonator, Doom Whisper. Hopefully the Scarab, yes, we will definitely put that on top because we want to hit a land drop. And then hopefully we can bounce back from this. We'll figure out what we're going to use for that Grim Tutor. We might try to cash in some sort of card draw. But it's going to lead off with Swamp and then anything else. We're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. And we're playing against Lara Bia. And... he or she, I've played a lot of games against them in the past. It's been a long time since we've played, and they have some pretty good decks too, so I'm really excited to play against them. Oh no, get hit with the Thoughtseize. We're playing Virtus the Veiled, partner with Gorm, but Gorm is not here, buddy, so this is all you, Virtus. You've got this. You can do this. I believe in you. You always got to talk them up a little bit, because, you know, they're partners, and then they miss, you know, he doesn't have his partner on the battlefield. So anyway, I'd like to talk them up just a little bit. Let's get down Strionic Resonator, and then kick it back over to our opponent. We were playing against the Scarab God himself, the beginning of your upkeep. Each opponent loses X life, and you scry X, or X is the number of zombies you control. Then for a 4-mana activation, let's get down Swamp, and kick it back. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, dang it, we could have got down Virtus. Sorry about that. I was really consumed with... covering the Scarab God. For 4-mana activation, exile target. Yeah, with me making that noise, that was me trying to hit the... cancel the auto yield that I had hit on my hotkey. So if you're trying to figure out what that noise was, that's what it was. All right, so let's go and see if we can't hit Virtus. The only good thing about this is that he's not here. I'm sorry. Gorm is not here. I'm sorry. Hang in there. This is all you. No, we're not going to use that ability. And then we'll pass the turn. Play against the Scarab God, 4-mana activation, exile target creature card from a graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. Then, when the Scarab God dies, return to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. We run into a Gilded Lotus, which, 1, 2, 3, 4, if we hit the land drop, I kind of really like that. But, yeah, and actually Cover of Darkness against a black deck does not sound... that good, because that basically it's gonna they can pretty much stop exactly what we've got going on. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we hit the land drop. That'll be Gilded Lotus. We get on Doom Whisper, and we'll also be super aggressive with this Doom Whisper once we get on the battlefield, because we need to get some get stuff moving on our side if we want to close the game out. We did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to get into some commander online, whether it's 1 versus 1, Jace, whether it's 1 versus 1 commander, or it is a or multiplayer commander, Magic Online is definitely your #1 source for that. And be sure to hit up MTGOTraders. They will definitely take care of you. Let's go Worn Power Stone on this one. We need to, well, no, we need to open up some mana. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Let's go Worn Power Stone, and then anything else, let's go and kick it back over there. But yeah, check out MTGOTraders. Magic Online right now, the card prices are pretty cheap because there's a high influx of people playing Arena right now, so there's not a lot of casual stuff on Magic Online. So if you wanted to get in, if you want to play some Commander, be sure to check it out. And also, we want to make sure that we keep Magic Online alive. It's kind of like the record store down on the corner. We don't want it to go away. There's a lot of cool Magic played on Magic Online, Vintage, Modern, Legacy, Penny Dreadful, all sorts of really cool formats. So we need to make sure Magic Online sticks around. And also, shout out to InkedGaming.com. If you're in the market for a custom playmat, be sure to hit them up and use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order and help the channel out at the same time. And let's say that you really enjoy one of my thumbnails and you're like, man, that would look so good as my desktop wallpaper on my home computer for personal use only. I've started to put a link down in the description below, linking some of the art that I've made for some of my thumbnails. So if you want to use it as some wallpaper for your desktop, go for it. Now is officially free time. After that, just ton of text. And just to kind of recap on what's gotten down, opponent's got 5 cards in the hand, Scarab God, and then we're looking at a J sitting at 2. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Gilded Lotus. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty good. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go Gilded Lotus. We could get down Doom Whisper if we wanted to, but I kind of like just getting some setting up going, if possible. We go Gilded Lotus. This is going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and I think we want to have Swiftfoot Boots on the battlefield too. So let's go triple Swamp off this. Get down Gilded Lotus. There's nothing for us to equip it to. And we're going to go and pass the turn. We just really want to open this up on mana. That way, once we finally do get down Doom Whisperer, if we could somehow get it protected from our opponent, let's say they tap out or something, I'm pretty sure they have not seen Doom Whisperer in our hand. So if they haven't seen it, well, actually, maybe they went for Cataxian Probe. Either way, if we do end up getting down Doom Whisperer, that will definitely allow us to kind of hopefully start attacking Jace. And another good thing is that our opponent doesn't really have any sort of reanimator targets for the Scarab God. So that's going to be a really good thing for us. Now, the only downside is if we do end up getting down Doom Whisperer and they have some sort of spot removal, they can certainly reanimate that with the Scarab God. But hopefully we can utilize that a little bit quicker than our opponent. So, and the only thing that I'm worried about is we saw a Thoughtseize and we saw some pretty good stuff from our opponents. I'm going to assume that they'll probably have some sort of answer for Doom Whisperer. But we need to get going. In fact, if we want to, we can kind of test the waters. We'd actually go Virtus. Yeah, let's try this. So let's go Virtus. And once we get this down, let's go Born Power Star, 1 black mana. We can get this and then get Swiftfoot Boots onto him. This will be a good counterspell test. It's going to send him back to the command zone. He's not here. It's you, Mr. Vex. You've got it. All right, and then the cool thing about this partner build is that you can target yourself or you can target your opponent. So you got to be careful with that, but if our opponent was playing green and they had it in there, they could go for it. Let's go and equip Swiftfoot Boots onto Virtus Vex himself, and that's going to give him hexproof and we can swing in at our opponent. All right, so they're going to crack the Scalding Tarn in response to that. And the good thing about us doing this main phase is that either we get in with Virtus Vex, that's going to allow us to get in for some good combat damage, and we can go for a Strionic Resonator activation, which will really kind of attack our opponent's life total. And if they're trying to get rid of Virtus, what we can do is end up getting down Doom Whisperer after that, and still have enough mana to follow it up with the Swiftfoot Boots activation too. So that should be pretty good. And let's see what they're going for now. They did crack that and get a Swamp down. Murderous Cut. Okay, so that will end up taking care of him. He's going to go back to the command zone. And then let's go triple black off of Gilded Lotus. And let's see if we can't stick ourselves a Doom Whisperer on the battlefield. He's mad. That was his buddy. That was his lunchroom buddy in the Virtus Battle Bond room. And it looks like we're going to see a counterspell. Force of Will Hardcast. Okay, so that's going to be our answers. And then we're going to go and pass the turn. So, like I mentioned, one of the downsides to us going for a Doom Whisperer line of play is that our opponent does have that ability to put it on the battlefield. In fact, we're going to see it now. And against the deck that we're playing against, this is going to be... it's going to be pretty brutal, so hopefully we can run into some sort of card advantage. If not, we're going to see a really good showing of the Scarab God in 1 versus 1 commander, so really excited about seeing that. You know, there's sometimes in Magic where you get beat pretty bad, or if you get beat, it's always fun to kind of see a well-tuned and a very fine-played deck by our opponent. They're certainly showing that off, too, so that's what makes Magic fun, is you can certainly appreciate... that is brutal. So they go for Compelling Deterrence. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, then that player discards a card. That's nasty when you've got no cards in the hand. I love it. All right, that's going to put us down to 19. That's going to be 10 total commander damage. And with them completely tapped down, let's see. Ooh, drawn to Embrace. Okay, so let's get some stuff moving. Let's go triple black for Virtus. And it's going to be 1-2 for the commander attacks off of Worn Power Stone. We're going to get him down. And then, nope, it's you, man. This is your show. And then we're going to click no on that. And then, unfortunately, I think we can still... Oh, excuse me. I'm thinking we have Swiftfoot Boots. We don't have that. I guess we still end up going for Embrace. Well, they're going to end up going for Jace, bouncing that back to the hand, which is not the end of the world if we end up going for that. So, yeah, let's just simply leave him on the battlefield. And then next turn, maybe we can go for Embrace if our opponent thinks they can somehow deal with him. But at least we can kind of attack our opponent's life total. And they're going to get the Doom Whisperer show going. Now, if we end up losing this one, this is definitely made a good game by our opponent. I'll kind of talk about what we do with this particular... Oh, Noxious Gearhold. That is just nasty with the Scarab God. But we still had to end up going for that line of play. We had to force it because we have Doom Whisperer and the Swiftfoot Boots on top to take care of Jace, and that gives us an opportunity to get some sort of card advantage. Now, one of the ways that we can win with this deck, we can definitely one-shot our opponent, and opponent's going to go for Exhume, like, hey, you can put a creature on the battlefield too if you want to, but we don't. All right, so that's going to be a Virtus. That's going to get rid of him, and oh, man, my goodness. This is definitely going to be a good one. One of the ways that we can kind of one-shot our opponent is that we deal this combat damage to, once we deal combat damage to our opponent, they're going to lose half their life total. We have a couple different spells that allow us to kind of make sure our opponent's going to lose the other half of their life if they lost life this turn. One of the fun ways that we can certainly do this is going to be an enchantment. I'm trying to find it on my deck list. It's going to be Wound Reflection. So we have get down Wound Reflection, and that's going to make them lose half of their life total. We also have Herald of Anguish, which is another way to kind of force them to lose half of their lives. So that's a really fun way to kind of one-shot our opponent. But in this particular matchup, I think our opponent's going to get in on this one. Unless we draw into something really special, really nice, we're going to be dead on the back end. So we draw into Rogue's Passage. All right, so we'll get down Rogue's Passage. Let's go Virtus. But with that Menace, and that's going to be a good game. We'll still go and cast him down. We have no game to our opponent. We'll still go and let them close this one out, but we'll get down Virtus. That way he can get a front row tickets to the show. It's going to be triple black. You can see our opponent. They built some pretty good decks. That's what I was talking about earlier. They have some good deck building skills, and so it's always good to kind of see a fine-tuned deck like this. And this is one of the best ways to run Scarab God, because we'll target our opponent with this. Give him a Jace shuffle. But one of the best ways to build the Scarab God, and this is a great way to do it, is just really just go value. You build a black-blue control shell, and then use a Scarab God as a way to kind of clean up on whatever you drew into. And they're going to go for Forbidden Alchemy. Let's go ahead and we'll tap down our swamps. That way they know the coast is clear. But yeah, this is one of the best ways to build the Scarab God. It's just a really fun build to go for. You know, that's kind of what I have mine geared towards. We do have a couple of Reanimator targets in there that end up being kind of fun to go for. But for the most part, you know, just simply bringing a Jace out of the graveyard and making it a 4/4 zombie. Whew, that is some good magic right there. But good game to our opponent. They're going to be able to swing in, get the 5 combat damage. They're going to bounce it back to the hand with Jace. He's going to say, get out of here, partner. Ain't got time for you. And that will end up being lethal. That'll be almost commander damage and put us down to -6. So good game to our opponent. That was definitely a good showing of the Scarab God control build. So if you're in the market to build a black-blue control and commander, hey, Scarab God is definitely that. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.